Hi everybody, and welcome to the fourth part and the last part of the tutorial on creating this cool design element. My name is Maltenen, and in this part I will show you how to get even more control over the balls. As you remember from part 3, I hope, we've used a wiggle expression to animate all the bubbles. So now, what if we would like this animation to be a loop, to be a loopable animation? As you probably remember, all the positions of our controller layers are in their default position. So basically they're all in 0, 0 position, but they are offset by the wiggle controller, by the wiggle expression. Now if we would, for example, get rid of the wiggle expression, then the ball would move back to the center. Oh, what's this? We don't have any expression in here, so what's the big deal? Okay, now it's okay. So like I said, as you can see, now the ball returned to the center of the composition. But let's go back and set the expression to what it was. And now, this is the same for all the layers. So now, let's create expression controllers for the wiggle expression. So to do that, let's create a new null object, and let's call this. Sorry for that. And let's call this animation controller, and let's drag another slider controller. Yes, slider control, and let's call this wiggle radius, and let's drag another one, and let's call this wiggle frequency. Now, frequency is a pretty tough word for me to spell, so I'll just use FQ for that. Okay, and as you remember, we can also use a very cool feature that is called copy expression only, and what this allows us to only modify the one expression, because we have all the, on all the layers we have exactly the same expression used, so we can only adjust this expression and then copy paste it to all the remaining layers. And to do that, we need to use our pick whip tool, which is a very nice feature of the After Effects, to get the values from the slider. So let's just select the first parameter, and let's use the pick whip tool. This is our frequency parameter, so let's drag this onto the slider, and let's do the same for our radius, and hit enter on your number keyboard, and that's it. As you can see, this is the ball, and because the wiggle radius and the wiggle frequency is set to 0, this ball has moved to its default position. Now if we'll adjust the values to what they were, the ball offsets, and this is good. So now let's just copy this expression to all the remaining layers. To do that, select the parameter that is driven by expression, and let's go to copy expression only, and now let's select all the remaining layers, including those two hidden ones that we've created, just in case, and let's paste the expression. Now all the balls have moved to their default position, and this allows us to create a loopable animation. And to do that, let's just twirl down the effects and wiggle frequency and wiggle slider. Let's set the keyframes in here to 0, and in here to 0 also. Let's move a few frames forward and let's set the frequency to 1, and same goes for here. 1. We could also use a hold keyframe feature, but you know, okay, let's leave it as it is. And in here let's type in radius of 300, and the same goes for here. And let's just do a RAM preview of that, and this is it. Whoa, what was that? Some drastic change in the frequency value. So this caused this shattering or whatever. But never mind that. As you can see, we can freely animate these values to create whatever effect we like. But for now, let's just turn this off, and let's set the parameters to what they were at the beginning, because this works best for us, I think. And what if I would like to change the size behavior of all the balls? For example, I would like this ball, because this is the largest ball, I would like all the remaining balls to scale down as they move away from this ball. So when they're close to it, they have their maximum size that is set by our ball size offset, and when they're away, then I would like them to be some maybe 0%, maybe 10%, or whatever. So let's just create another slider for that, because I would like to change this value later on, maybe I don't know. So let's just set this size minimum value and size maximum value, and okay, this is okay. I will lock this this palette for this layer, because I will use the pick whip tool in a second to get the values from these sliders. And using this lock feature, when I change the layers, I always see these properties from the animation controller layer. Okay, so what do we need to create this effect? Well, first of all, we need to animate the scale property using expressions. So let's just extend this text box. And first of all, we need to calculate the distance from the main ball to the ball that size is being altered. So let's just check what ball is this. I'm still selecting some layer. This is the adjustment layer. Let's just turn this off. Just lock this. And this is our controller 5. Okay. So we need to calculate the size, we need to calculate the distance from the controller 5 to the current controller. So let's create a variable for that. Let's call this distance. And we have a function in a vector math category that is called length. And this is what we are going to use. Now, don't be scared, we're going to get a beautiful error message that says whatever, because this expression isn't finished, so After Effects just screams in pain that something is wrong. I need to get to the position property of this layer. Okay, so I could use the pick whip tool. And now let's select point number 1, and let's use the pick whip tool to go to the position. Okay, that's it. And the second point would be the position of this layer. So like this. And now we also need to know what is the range of values that this distance value may have. So the minimum is 0 pixels, of course, and the maximum is our wiggle radius. So let's just twirl this down. Let's ignore this error message again, and because we know what is the distance range and we know what is the scale range, which is from 0 to 100 for scale and 0 to wiggle radius for distance, we now need to calculate the distance to be in between the values of 0 to 100, or to be more specific, from size minimum to size maximum. And After Effects gives us a nice function to do that, and this is called linear. And the first parameter is the value that we are going to calculate, and this is the distance. Next parameter is the minimum of its original range, so it's 0 pixels, and the maximum, so this is wiggle radius. And the next thing is the minimum of the new range, so size minimum, and the maximum of new range, so size maximum. This is it. And this is going to give us an error again, and this error is going to be expression results must be of dimension of 2, not 1. And this is because the scale property is a two-dimensional value. We've dealt with this problem in the part 3 of this tutorial, I think, so you already know how to deal with this. Let's call this size factor, for example, equals whatever it equals. And now let's just give After Effects what it wants, and this is it. Where's our ball? Oh, here it is. And why is it so small? Because the size minimum and size maximum are set to 0. So let's just change that to 100. Let's go. Oh, the adjustment layer and the animation layer are locked, so I cannot change the value. Let's put 100 in here. Now it looks better. But I think we're getting a something is wrong, I think, because we are getting a reversed value. Let's just check this out. In here, this is our ball that is being altered, and this is our master ball or whatever, and this should be, bigger, not smaller. So well, yes, of course, because when the distance is 0, so the scale is 0 also, so we need to reverse this. So let's just type in our size factor equation 100 minus the rest of the expression, and this way we will get the reverse result, and that's it. The ball moves away from the master ball and it gets smaller, and when it moves closer to it, it gets bigger. And this is exactly what we want. Let's just do a RAM preview of this. Yes, and this looks pretty nice. So let's just copy paste this expression to the rest of the layers. Let's select the scale property, go to copy expression, and let's paste it to all the layers except our master ball. And let's use paste, and let's just RAM preview that. And yes, this rook looks pretty cool, pretty amazing, and this is all driven by expressions. Remember that there's no keyframing, no stuff like that, no traditional animation, just pure expressions, and this is good. And now, what if we would try to do something even more amazing? And that is, let's just try to drive the animation and, to be more specific, the wiggle radius by a music clip, by some audio clip. So let's just import a new file. I've already created a sample clip folder for this, and this is it. Okay, so let's just go and try to listen to this, what it sounds like. Okay, so that's it. And we would like this music, this wave clip, to drive the animation. So let's just import this to our timeline. And here it is. And now After Effects comes with a cool feature called Convert Audio to Keyframes. So let's select that. And now we have a new null object, null layer, with all the keyframes for left channel, right channel, and both channels merged together. As you can see, there's already a slider controller for this, and the value changes, and this is good. So as you can see, it changes from 0 to about 30 or 32, so okay. So now let's just do one very simple thing. Let's drive the radius with wrong layer, with this value. So let's alt click on the slider, let's use the pick whip tool to point to the slider, and let's multiply this by 10 maybe, because 10 multiplied by 30 gives 300. So this is pretty close to what we had, and that's it. And now let's do a quick run preview and see how it looks. So, pretty amazing, huh? So, I think that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Once again, this is Maltenan, and you can find my other tutorials on www.maltenan.com. See you there. Cheers.